Allora, io sono veramente felice di essere qua, credo sia un sogno. L'unica cosa che non è... Ah no, in inglese.
Maybe in English, can you take off the hats to see?
Allora,
Okay.
the only thing is not a dream, is that I'm in this condition. This is a reality, unfortunately. Yes, and this, I tell you, it's not funny. It never happened to me in my life to be like that.
And
I remember when I'm here, in 1965, I did my Abschluss Choralwillispieler.
Abschlussarbeit, Diploma.
I did my speech for the finish of the school.
Yeah.
60 years ago.
In this room, in this space, in here.
Yeah.
Grande Oliviero.
Ecco, adesso basta, mi fa male le orecchie.
Ja.
Qua?
Mit der Schlussnote 1,1.
Sehr gut, sehr gut.
Sì,
1,1.
ho avuto I had a very good note.
Huh?
The only good note I ever had in school.
But have you been a good student in your eyes?
No, you have to understand, I came from an Italian gymnasium. Ciao, kiddie. And I never had such a bad time like when I was studying at the gymnasium in Italy. Really terrible. Until one day, a professor, a woman, of course, was very serious. Actually, she was right. She told me, Toscani, why you come to school to make us wasting time? And I said, yes, she's right. I'm wasting my time. And so, I finished and I came here. It was great. It was an incredible experience.
But why did you choose Zürich?
Yeah.
What's the reason? Why Zürich? It's not the most interesting city in the world.
There were a couple of reasons. First, at the time, it was the best school for design and photography and research. Second, I had a couple of friends, Max Huber, Livichensky, Laura Lam, who were working in Milan. And I was looking at their work and I really was impressed by the quality of their work. And they all came from the school. And then third, that here they spoke German. Fantastico. I couldn't speak a word. Normally say, no, I don't go there because they speak another language. No, you go there because you learn another language.
That's what your parents said.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important.
And was it a big jump for you into the unknown?
Yeah.
Was it a big step for you into the unknown? Was it fun? Was it interesting? Was it?
Oh, yeah, totally. I came to Zurich, I was 20, no, not even. In 96, no, I was 18. Wait.
42.
61, I'm born
19.
42.
19.
So I was not 20 yet.
And how was the atmosphere here at the university?
How?
The atmosphere, how was the collaboration between the students or?
You see,
Niente.
a year. Ciao. This is a real friend.
I introduced Jörg because he gave me the hint to visit the show in Palazzo.
Do you remember the speech here? Yeah. It was really Mayakovsky. No, I've been lucky because 65 it was an incredible moment for not just here, for the young people. You know, the time were changing. That's what we thought. And then we are having good time. We are having, I don't know, it was a moment of experiment and dreaming and looking for the future. And no, you can't speak like that now to a 20-year-old young boy or girl. You know, speak about the future. Something that scares people. That didn't scare us. No.
So the society was in a total change?
Yeah, and then here was very interesting because the teaching of photography was in a way not based on human, how do you say?
Human-centered or?
No, you know, Sachawnahme.
Yeah.
So I learned really all those things that normally you don't learn in normal photography school. Today they just, you should see one Kiddy. I'm the only one who call him Kiddy. Come from Kidori, you know, no, you should see him taking a picture. It's fantastic. And it's just incredible. Mondrian.
Of photography with the trombone.
Yeah.
I have some pictures here from Neue Sachlichkeit, these eggs as an example, or concerned photography, and Swiss graphic design, which was super present in these years.
That was the photography at the time, yes. You know, the eggs and thing, perfetti, everything. So that really was very important for me to try to understand how to do this kind of thing. It's very difficult.
But was it not a bit...
You know, Finsler was a teacher who came from the Bauhaus, I think, and was teaching here photography. And he was, you know, one of those perfectionista. So that what I learned here, it does exist. It does exist, perfection. It's not that say, oh no, perfection doesn't exist. Of course, you are not perfect. But it does, it's possible to look for it, you know, to research it.
As a goal.
Yeah. And so we had that lucky. This picture, the one in the middle is...
The middle is Cartier-Bresson, just an example for concerned photography where
Lenin.
human and society becomes more important.
You know that prepared the revolution at the Select? No, the Odeon. Lenin.
But anyhow, it was quite a gap between Neue Sachlichkeit and all the things that were happening in society, the things you described before. Was it not a bit boring?
It was Lenin and the Dadaismus.
At the same time?
That's a great town, huh? So extreme. Yeah. I always found Zurich a very extreme town. Very on the edge, very sensitive to the new possibility.
But Zurich in the 60s or today?
Yeah, no. I came here today and I didn't recognize the town.
Because it changed too much.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And on the architecture, is the best in the world. I mean, for sure, the public Swiss architecture is the best.
Are you sure?
No, it's true. And if you want, we can speak about the difetti. We can speak about the negative side, but I don't like that.
Yeah. But also in the 60s, you say Zurich was an inspiration. It was interesting for you, coming from Milano.
Was Milan was already very interesting, but in a total different way. Die Nachbarstadt.
It's close.
See, that was they called it Milan at the time.
Die Nachbarstadt.
No, the school put me in a position, after I finished it, put me in a position I really was, like my friend, in a privileged position to understand photography.
And you always had a direct connection to the market. As an example, two pictures here from Zurich Airport.
Yeah, this was for the aluminium. No, another very important thing, I'm here because I knew this guy here, Pierino, Peter Knapp, favore, alzati, fatti vedere. Anche even if his stand is not taller than now. No, he has been basic for me, not just for me, for a lot of photographers. He understood who was probably possible to make working. And I remember very well when he called me, I was in Paris. They say, come over to Elle magazine. It was still in Rue Réaumur, no? And so, no, it was always a researcher. Anything he did was really trying to find a new way or something alternative. And this is a big energy that you have to do that all the time.
So this was a constant.
So Peter, I know it's 90. You don't say it normally, no, my women don't want to say. 92?
When you arrived first, I think it was 60.
How old are you now? How old are you now?
93.
93. You still ski, go the bicycle, everything. That's a typical Appenzeller.
Appenzeller, yeah.
Oh, incredible.
So these pictures from the airport in Zurich became extremely important because there was a global competition by Pan Am.
For aluminium and Panam. Panam.
People on the move.
Yeah.
And you won the first prize and were invited to fly first class to New York.
Travel. Yeah, that's me in New York.
How was that when you arrived in the Big Apple? How was this? You arrive in New York first class?
You see, with an American flag like Trump. Yeah, no, it was very exciting, Do you know how did I arrive in New York?
No.
Invited by Panam, and they took me at the airport with an helicopter, and they flew me on the top of Panam building, who was now what is...
MetLife.
Yeah. There I landed.
As a student?
So I arrived by the sky.
Not bad.
Yeah, like an angel.
And then you went in...
And then I had 5 days of prize was during the World Exhibition, 65, and I think I slept 1 hour in 5 days.
In New York,
Yeah, I was just
all day around.
around. Yeah,
And you also went to Harlem, to the north of the city, Bronx, to...
but this later, this picture of the Harlem. Then I went to New York many times. Huh? I did a lot of learning there, you know, working for American magazine, American people, American clients. You know, because I am a mercenario, how do you say? Helmut Newton say, I'm the gun to hire. It's true. I never took one picture for myself. I don't need to see my picture.
But these pictures you
I
took for
always
you.
take picture because other people
Want them to
could
have.
see what I see, if it's interesting or not.
But anyhow, you had
That is, you know, what they say, show me your private work. What do you mean? You're better when it's private? I don't understand that. I think that, I don't think the big painters from the Renaissance, they did paint for themselves at all. They wanted to be paid. Yeah, they worked for the power.
Of course.
They worked for the church, for the popes.
But anyhow, these pictures, you made them on a
No,
private basis
yeah, but
at the beginning.
I was in New York making a research on black people because I realized that was 73, something like that. I realized that was going to become important. Their music started to become important, not just jazz music, but music in general. Their fashion, their way to move, we had to learn. And so I always went around to find this kind of thing. Now I'm curious to see, to understand why things happen. Yeah. And
simultaneously, you made work for Harper's Bazaar, fashion. So it was quite quick that you.
One to the left is fantastic. It's one of my first fashion series ever made. Harper's Bazaar, that at the time was the best. You know, half of them was working for Bazaar, Penn was working. Anyhow, they asked me to do the high fashion collection in Rome. So I went to Rome. There was the director, the editor-in-chief, everything. At that time, the magazine was very rich. And I had to start 2 days later the shooting. And the editor-in-chief asked me, what are you going to do, Toscani? I will let you know exactly. I didn't know what to do. You know, I was looking a location, an idea, something like that. No, I say that because this is really taught me how to face photography. And they gave me a chauffeur, and I used to go around Rome to find something to photograph. After 2 days, I didn't have any ideas. You know, at the time we used to, now still they're looking for ideas. I understood that I didn't have any idea, and I was sitting outside Villa Borghese saying, okay, Oliviero, now you go to the editor and tell him they made a mistake choosing you. that you're not able to do the job. It's too involving, too important, you know. And I must say, at that moment, my life changed. I understood that you don't have to have ideas. You have to look. My mother used to tell me, the only thing she told me, stai attento, always. Stai attento. You know, different, but always stai attento. And I think that's it. That's the work of a photographer. And I said, look at this. There was a woman coming out the Villa Borghese with the sun. And outside Villa Borghese there was a man who was selling, you know, those balloons, those one. And the child started, buy me one, buy me one. So they went on until the mother said, okay, tell your mother, they always say yes. And she bought him a balloon, and then they go like that. And I said, that's Italy. That's Italy. That's the story.
So that was the idea.
That's the story.
But this is not this picture. This was restaged afterwards. The picture we see here is the one that you made afterwards.
It was a story of 10 pages like that.
Yeah. But anyhow, this is the first campaign for the
And at that time, I used to develop myself, print myself, one-man show. I like that.
And then later you could convince
This is
Uomo
Vogue, see, there. Uomo Vogue is the first picture with a black guy on the cover. Ever, for Condé Nast. I had a lot of struggle to have that made. But at the end, these were the black power colors, green and black. At the time, they used to call them still negri, you see?
Quale da vera facci dei negri. And inside of this magazine is a complete story of all the pictures you've taken from people of color in New York. People on the street, people wearing fashion, but only black people. So this was like a revolution, or?
Yeah, I think that we are making what we are. What's happening now is really incredible. Sometimes I ask myself, actually, I'm embarrassed to belong to the human race, to see what's happening and what is, what we just take for, we don't react anymore. You know, yesterday 50 people were killed. 50 people were killed on TV. Everybody, okay, and they go on eating. No, it's too much. I don't know what's happened to human being. What we do for that.
Do you think this changed these last decades? That
No, not there is una assuefazione, how do you say that? We get accustomed to the worst thing without any reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, if Hitler was here, was okay, was good for TV to show him. No, sometimes I really ask myself, where are we going? And not that I'm a pessimist at all, just the contrary. I hate pessimism, but now people don't even realize that they're living in a moment of deep pessimism.
Do you think it has to do with social media, that images are all around us?
No, the big poison is the social media.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody who is in a social media is an idiot. No, I'm not joking. He's an idiot. I don't even know how to get into social media.
But you have a
Doesn't
very
interest
clear,
me.
a very clear opinion.
No. Social media is like a concentration camp where we go voluntarily inside to get our brain gassed. You know? Yeah.
That's what I told you with provocation. That in my eyes
No,
goes
but it's
maybe a
true,
bit too
come
far.
on.
Yeah.
They all look the same, they all do the same.
But you cannot compare concentration.
No,
to
they are
anything.
really terrible. It's an intellectual concentration camp.
Maybe in the 60s, your parents said if you go to the clubs, this is only for idiots. In the 60s, maybe your parents would have said if you go to disco, to clubs.
No, but it wasn't the same.
Of course, it's not the same.
No, I don't want to make comparison because every time has got his stories but there are moments that we are lucky, and there are moments we are not. And this moment is not particularly lucky for the human being. No.
It's difficult times.
You know, look at my nephew there. He's 7-year-old. Sometimes I think, how is he going to live? We have to do something for him. Not just for him, for the future. What we do for the future.
But does not every time has its constraints? You know, when we're talking about the 60s, 70s, we're in the midst of Cold War, atomic bomb, rockets all over the place, and very tough fence. They're building the wall.
We are never perfect. No, we are not actually really civilized yet. We are not.
I agree.
No, it's not a long time that we walk around without a gun in our, or a sword in our
Pocket.
or our belt. Not long, huh? We used to steal somebody who doesn't belong to a country is an alien, is a foreigner, is somebody who comes from the forest, forestiero. That's it. And then all the problem with immigration, it's all wrong. Switzerland, I think, is the country who has got most immigrants ever. You came from all over the world. Incredible. And why the country is so, I must say, intelligent, no? Because of that. In every class, where there is a mixture of children from different places, are the best classes. But discrimination is still very important.
Very, very present also in Switzerland.
Incredible.
Everywhere, of course.
Yeah, it was embarrassing also, almost. Embarrassing. Now let's talk about something funny.
When you were in New York, you met important artists, people like Patti Smith here, Lou Reed, Andy Warhol. How important were they for your formation, also for your personality?
Nothing really different from any other people. Really. Warhol was the most, how do you say, he said all the time, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Great, no?
Great.
Somebody does, life is, oh yes.
He was a positive,
Andy, what do you think if we do, oh yes,
so
fantastic.
a positive personality.
Yeah. And Patti Smith, I don't know her so well. I know her because when she arrived in New York, I met him immediately because she used to come at the place called Max's Kansas City. There is a picture on the wall there. And we became, you can say, friend, you know, we know each other. And, but you know, not few people are really charismatic.
But he was.
Probably the big one, the biggest was Muhammad Ali, for sure. The biggest charisma I ever saw. And then you know Fidel Castro.
You met him as well?
Very, yeah, you knew that he was coming to the room even if he was there. One of those presents.
Okay, you could feel him.
You know, there are people like that, more or less charismatic. And so I was very interested in people like that, you know, because there is a lot of people that I met who are charismatic. There are a lot of people charismatic. There are a lot of people who lose their charisma because they accept a compromise. And that doesn't help.
You think that's a mistake?
Compromise doesn't help. No, no, no. If you think that most of the people make a job that they don't like it, and they throw away half of the time of their life by doing something they don't like. It's terrible. No, I think that is a lack of humanity, you know, to treat yourself like that.
But you could also say compromise is like the basis of society, and
Yes.
we should live together.
Yes, compromise, of course. We all know what compromise is, but there are many levels of compromise, you know. There are people who really, they need to survive, and this is not a compromise. You know, they need to live, they need to have a country, they need to have a family, to have a right and just the right thing to live. So looking for that is not a compromise. Actually, is a big fight. Just think to be like that. Incredible.
And you, as a photographer, you were quite early. You were able to propose campaigns that were not making compromises.
No, this is a very special intervention. When I finished school here, that was 1965, I realized that photography as a reportage was finished. The big magazines were closing up, and you know, Lifetime, Paris Match, they were closing up. And so the news, they were coming more and more from television, not from photography and the print paper. So I started to think, you know, There's no sense to be Cartier-Bresson again, because this was a story of a moment of photography where the people really like to masturbate themselves with aesthetics of photography, all that. So I started to analyze what could have been the future. And the future at that time was architecture, fashion, lifestyle, traveling, glossy magazine, rich people magazine. I see. And so and I realized that with that, I could do things and allow myself to do other things, because they were paying me very good.
Very well.
I was going, no, first of all, I was going around the world all the time. And the people were kind of interested. Peter Knapp was one of those people. He hasn't got the hair of Musk, no, he was very like me. And a lot of people were like us in that society. So I started to work for magazines, and to work for magazine and be requested by magazine at the time, you had to be good. You had to be good. You were on the market. So the magazine did call you, and you had to perform every time. You have to have an idea. No, to understand, you have to bring something interesting.
And new ideas every second.
And then I also met for example, I did work a lot in Paris for Elle, thanks to Peter. At the beginning, I think I did 160 covers.
160 covers.
Elle magazine. And then I was working for Condé Nast, the Vogue, all this glossy paper magazine, which...
Was this interesting?
No, I realized at the time, real good photographers were not fashion photographers. Peter, am I right? No. They were good photographers, but not fashion.
Le temps moderne.
So I didn't know anything about fashion.
But anyhow, you worked.
I know what, my personal taste is, but I'm not one of those fashion photographers, no. To be a fashion photographer, you have to be another kind of human being.
That's not you. But anyhow, for at least 10 years, you've been working for fashion industry.
Yes. And so, like that, I know in that district, I met very interesting people, entrepreneurs like Fiorucci, and of course the first one is Luciano Benetton, the most important, because he was the only one at Benetton that was defending me, because my biggest enemy when I was working for Benetton was the company. And I tell you, that's not a very comfortable position. All the managers, those people who work in marketing, all this bullshit.
But if the boss stands behind you, it's not that bad.
Marketing and advertising. Creative director. The direct creativity, can you imagine?
Huh?
You can't even direct yourself? Huh?
What does he say? Raconte pas ta.
Tell him.
You remember
Yeah.
the meeting in Lausanne, and you, on the 6th, you was the last. Tell the story.
No, it happened.
In Lausanne, you've been the last of 6
The last
people.
meet, I was involved too. We were doing the campaign for Club Med, no?
Shoes.
Ah, the shoe. Yeah, no, something eccentric.
But anyhow, after 2 or 3 years with Benetton, you could convince Luciano that fashion.
I didn't convince him.
No, you just did it.
No, actually, he called me up because Elio Fiorucci told him that probably I was the right guy for the image. But at that time, I already did Esprit, you know, this kind of company. I went to Ponzano, to his office, and I was very impressed because he had a table with nothing, just a gas with some
Color pencils.
color Bleistift. Yeah, nothing else on the table. And I said, this is interesting. Yeah, it's true, no detail is small. And so we start to speak about the image, the strategy that a company like that should have had. And at the end, I told her, listen, I don't want nobody between you and me. No manager, no
Art director.
marketing research, all this bullshit, you know, to know that the mouse like cheese. We don't need to make a marketing research for that. Mouses love cheese without spending any money, you know that. So, and then I told him just for fun, what do you think if we make the best campaign ever made? And he looked at me and he realized if you can think of something like that, you can do it. But we never think like that. We always think that we have to do some,
Something that pleases everybody.
yeah. So I started to take the picture, you know, the first campaign was with black boys and girls with a mixture, and this was called All the Color in the World. I didn't like so much the
Disclaim.
copy. Until one day that I was in Paris in the studio, there were about 30 kids making noise, jumping around, all colors. And somebody from the United Nations came to see because they gave me a prize before because I did the campaign with the children like that. And he got into the studio, looked at that, and he said, United Color, Benetton. You see, ideas, zero, me, zero. You have to just to be, stai attento. So I called immediately Luciano and said, Luciano, we got the copy for our brand. Because I didn't want a copy. I thought that the label should contain everything. I don't like this written advertising. You know, I've got my ideas about that, and I don't really understand all that bullshit. No, I think an image is an image, and should talk by itself. And you don't have to explain what you're looking at.
But anyhow, there is a major shift when we look at Benetton. When you started, you were picturing beautiful young people in colorful clothes.
Yeah.
And then the first images appear where there is even no more fabric. It's
No,
a
little
totally
by
different
little,
story.
those beautiful young people started to take their tongue out. They started to be twins, one American, one Russian. And, got no sense. And I started to go on problematic problem. No, I have to tell you, I was alone. Not even my family was understanding what I was doing. No, it's true. They were right. My wife told me all the time, Oliviero, calmo, non fare queste cose. If I would listen to her, I would be a Photoshop to print foto d'identità. Anyhow, so I went on, and I remember one day I went to Luciano and said, listen, if you were 20-year-old, would you be more interested in AIDS or in a blue sweater? And he said, in AIDS, of course. And I don't have to be 20-year-old. Now I'm interested in that. So I said, okay, we will talk about that. From now on, that will be the story of our image. With all the money that was available in advertising, no journalist could have made what we did. So we were with the same picture on all the magazines in the world. We could do things that were unthinkable. Did you see the condom?
Of course, no.
The condom on the obelisk in Place de la Concorde. A lot of those kind of nonsense was made that you wouldn't do if you don't believe that you can do it. That's how it is, everything. If you believe you can do it, at the end, you will do it. Today, too. The only thing I can do yet is be healthy, but soon will come. Or go to the cemetery or become normal again.
This very impressive picture of
Yeah,
David Kirby dying. This is the first one which is not made by you, it's by...
Yeah, and at a certain moment, I realized that I wasn't enough. I wasn't enough. Because I was looking at magazines and papers where I saw a certain picture that I wasn't able to take because we were in the rest of the world where they were. So I said, I said to Luciano, let's make a choice of picture that we didn't do it, but we push, we believe in. And so I chose the picture, I colored them because they were all black and white, I don't know why. I'm a color photographer. And then Luciano said, but what kind of idea is that? Look, Piazza del Campidoglio, Rome, there is a statue in the middle, on Carlo
Marco Aurelio.
Antonio, on the horse, who put it there? Michelangelo. He was a sculptor. But in his piazza that he designed, he did put a sculpture that was made by somebody else. And that I always thought that that was really incredible for an artist to understand other people's sensitivity and way of understanding.
And this brought...
Knapp did that all his life. He did believe in certain people and he went on. Now, you don't know many people to thank him for that. Yeah.
Many people were saying that you are abusing people's suffering and you sell their... You make money with their suffering?
Like
What
a
do you say?
doctor is abusing somebody because he's operating to the heart. He's abusing the body of somebody else, no.
But how were the reactions? Did you have problems with the
Yeah, but
courts?
there are some people who are sick. I don't listen to those people. No, I listen. What do you want to do? You know, there are people who are doing what is doing now that I don't understand, but they are doing it. So I don't listen to the one I think they're not, I could say, to feel kind of snob. I think they are not intelligent enough to understand the basic things. Or probably they haven't been lucky to have the right education. They miss it. And I don't think they live well. No.
But anyhow, you started with Luciano like a journey that started with beautiful clothes and then it became more and more extreme.
Yeah, but Luciano was very interesting man, still. He called me every second day. We are really friends. One of the first days I was at Benetton. The CEO of Benetton was a man, typical CEO. Never interesting. Called me and he wanted to know about the image because those people, they just talk about image. You know, image. Even the cleaning lady can tell you what she thinks. And probably she thinks better than some creative director.
Oh, yes.
So the guy called me. I went to his office and he told me, yes, because here Benetton, we need that and that and that. You should help us to find I don't even remember exactly what he said. He said the same bullshit that I say to everybody. So I came out of the office and Luciano was there. 3 doors. And he said, Oliviero, come, please. So I went to him. This was one of the first days I was working there. And I sat down and said, listen, you shouldn't listen to nobody here. You should listen just to yourself, because you are the responsible of the image. So everybody will tell you that the black are too black, the white are too white, the thing is too fat, the other one is too much. Everybody can say something, so don't listen. You go ahead of what you think is right to do. I mean, I never heard something like that before. I mean, no.
There was a lot of trust.
Not even the Pope to Michelangelo said, now you paint what you want. No. No, probably yes, he was a tough guy, but...
The Pope or Michelangelo?
Very tough guy.
But anyhow, is there one, for me as an example, the picture here addressing mafia murder goes far too beyond the red line.
This belongs to the series.
You bought the picture at the agency. It's a picture.
I bought the picture from the photographer.
But you didn't.
Who has never been paid so much for a picture. He still thanked me for that.
But you didn't ask the family.
No, because my father was a news photographer. And of course, we were not a rich family. My mother was working. Actually, she even came here to work. You remember? She came here ausflächen. No, photography still today is not really respected. If you don't understand the importance of photography, you're an analphabeta, you say, an illiterate person. Now, everybody has to know how to photograph and how to speak and how to express himself through photography. Can you think of a society without images today? What is the most important thing that's happening today? Tell me.
Images.
Probably images. Incredible. And so it's not something that you give to a professional photographer. Professional photographer is a liar. I belong to the last group of professionals that even know as a name. After that, do you know photographer names? The one who work for those.
For Instagram and social media.
Yeah, they work for the.
Well, they have very big
I don't even know
communities.
the name. The social media.
Terrorists. But again, Oliviero, it's interesting to me. Is there a campaign for Benetton where you would say from today's perspective, there I've gone too far?
There is always something to talk about. Then, now, for example, when I started 1 year ago, when I started to feel not so much in forma, I said, it would be interesting to make a campaign about peace. What is peace? An image. It's not Picasso, Dove, come on. What is peace? Tell me. Nobody can answer to that question. There isn't an image for that. It's just, there is a sense of that. We all know that sense, but we are not able to make an image out of peace. Probably some painting. But you know, sometimes it's the opposite of peace. When I think of Pollock, he's looking for peace in the mess of his painting. There is, but nobody can tell me, nobody help me. You know, it would be nice to make a world campaign about peace. No, no, everybody come up with ideas. Peace is not an idea.
Yeah, but
Is a need that we have got and that we are not able to deal with. We are not able to deal with. All what we can do is to deal with violence. It's very easy to show violence on TV. But do you ever see peace on TV? It doesn't sell.
doesn't sell. Yeah.
If you watch TV and every maximum 5 seconds, there is somebody who gets killed. For real, or for movies, for pleasure. Yeah, we like people get killed for pleasure. Can you imagine?
Would you say that the
There's
project,
something wrong. Yeah, come on.
the project you made in Sant'Anna di Sazzema, where the Nazis
This is
slaughtered so many people in 1944, and
this is a very important work.
is this about peace?
You know,
right?
Sant'Anna di Sazzema was a place where in 1944, the German and the fascist, with the Italian fascist, because no, I was born in a country that was under a king, fascist, allied with the Nazi. That's what my.
That's where you come from.
That's what I come from. And in war against the Allied. It's terrible, no? When I think. And now probably going to die again like that. What's going on now in Italy is terrible. So in 1944 was, I think, August, a group of fascists went to a little village near on the coast, Viareggio, up there. And they killed 640 people, children, women. They put them there and they started to kill them. And in 1964, I mean, 6 years later, the mayor of Sant'Anna called me up and say, Toscani, we are going to make a story, a remembrance of Sant'Anna 6 years later, but there are no pictures. We haven't got any material. Nobody really documented it. If you are so good as you say, do it. Fuck shit. Really. No, as they say and you say. So really, this guy really intrigued me. And I started to think, I never thought before to make a reportage of a story that happened 6 years before. It wasn't just telling the story, I wanted to show what they left, And so I went to Sant'Anna. I went there before, but I went there with another kind of thinking, another kind of sentiment, because this is always a problem. Depends how you face the problem. I went there and I didn't see really people, and I went into the bar. The village that wasn't even a village, was just some houses. And I was sitting there, and I asked the lady of the bar about if she was there that day. And she started to tell me, and then he said, no, look at Petri, the guy I show you. He was walking in. He knows because he lost all his family. He was under the father, mother, full of brains, blood. And then he came to Switzerland, and he worked here until he was able to work. Actually, we will speak some Schweizerdeutsch together. And so I asked him, how was it that day? He was sitting in front of me. He looked at me for a moment, and immediately his face changed. The movie changed. He started to tell me what he saw as a child that day. Like a movie, no? The face was like a movie. So I was kind of impressed with that. I didn't really understand yet what it was. But so I went home. I don't know, is he here?
I think so.
In the center. Anyhow, I went home and I started to look at the picture, and I realized that, first of all, they had my age. We were children, actually. They didn't even know why that happened. Huh? And, but they were confronted with that kind of violence. And everyone I spoke to, actually, I got also the video, I don't know. Everyone had this kind of movies going on in his eyes. No, incredible. I think that those kind of things really make you a sign for all your life.
So this has become an extremely important body of work. Yeah.
And this is a work that really means a lot to me.
And it marks also the end of the exhibition. It's like the journey through your career as
I
a...
don't know if it is a reportage, but that is.
This one? Well, it's...
It got no time, it's not... Yeah, it's a document. Every time they show this to the visitors. A month ago there was a meeting, they give that to Presidente della Repubblica, you know, they got in the library.
and to see your exhibition.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Listen, I think we take the opportunity to give the audience the possibility for 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah, sure.
And then...
Probably there's a more interesting thing that we do.
Maybe, this might be, maybe. So do we have some microphones? And somebody who's... Is there somebody with a question? Hätte jemand Fragen? Anche in italiano? Huh?
No question?
No, da ist eine, schau da vorne.
Buonasera, io sono un fotografo, come lei. Se il mondo dove viviamo oggi, che consiglio darebbe a un fotografo di fare nella sua vita? Non capisci?
Purtroppo sono...
Allora, io sono un fotografo come lei.
Ah, lei è fotografo come
Sì,
me.
fotografo,
Non
qui a
ci
Torino.
sono 2 fotografi uguali. Vero?
È vero. Però lei è...
Lei è fotografo perché fa le foto. Io sono fotografo perché faccio le foto, vero? Ma non è più sufficiente.
È lì la mia domanda. Con la sua esperienza, che consiglio darebbe a un fotografo di oggi per vivere di questo mestiere e creare valore, creare cose importanti? Perché il social media non ha valore.
No, ci sono... Allora, tutti quelli che scrivono, poeti, romanzieri, li chiamiamo scrittori, giusto? Ma in realtà non è così. È tutta gente che scrive a macchina o col computer. Sono dei dattilografi. No, do you understand me? They're not. We call them writers just because they write, not because of what they do. So photography is the same. One taking pictures is called a photographer. Wrong. Because I don't care about photography. I learned it here, perfetto, bellissimo. And, but understood the importance of photography, of taking picture. And I use it as a media to tell the way I thought. But I'm not like a fan of this kind of maniac. No, I don't need a Leica to take a picture. No. Doesn't take better picture. So, it's not true that we are all photographers. We are handling a machine, a technology that gives us the opportunity to say, to speak in a certain way through images. Okay? And like not every writer is a writer. Just somebody who stepping on his writing machine. It's called a writer. So, finito with the story, arrivano le lettere, I received the letter, I'm a photographer like you. First of all, you can't be like somebody else. Impossible. No, impossible.
Impossible.
Otherwise, it's terrible. No.
Qu'est-ce qui te plaît le plus dans les créativités aujourd'hui?
Les gens plus créatifs,
Attends, le micro.
Dans la créativité, dans quel sens tu es excité ou tu es curieux encore comment ça se passe?
francese, sì.
Difficile. Auf Deutsch.
Oui.
Hein?
Dans le théâtre,
Traduci.
dans le ballet, dans la peinture, dans toute forme de créativité d'image, laquelle t'intéresse le plus aujourd'hui?
No, ma creativité, I really don't know what that means, really, creativité.
Dans l'absolu. Si c'est dans l'art ou dans l'art appliqué.
Creativité is a consequence of something that you do without really understand why you do it. You know, a work is incredible good if the artist who made it is the first one to be embarrassed of what he did. So if you are embarrassed, oh, what did I do here?
Then you moved forward.
Yeah, I mean that finally you did something new for you. And the fact not to be so sure, you know, creativity is based on doubt, total doubt. You don't know if it's right or wrong. So you have to have the courage to go ahead, to be hard-headed. And if you make a mistake, start again. Simple.
One last question.
Yeah. Toscani, è qui di fronte.
Qui.
Lei ha una vita che ci provoca. La sua figura pubblica, leggendo i giornali, sembra essere passata da quella del mostro a quella del mostro sacro. Questo cambiamento la rispecchia oppure la fa un po' arrabbiare?
Did you understand the question?
Ma io... No, ci sono delle cose che mi fanno arrabbiare, sì. Sì, ma non mi deprimo, mi incazzo e basta.
Boom. This is a nice word to stop the talk. Huh?
No, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Oliviero,
Yeah.
for everything. Thank you.
Grazie.